Where are we at? Where are we at? Is it working? Yes. I think. Here. Welcome to Code Hangout number 157. Today we're looking into writing. Okay, I think we're live on Twitch. Twitch is still saying off. Restream says we're good. Now Twitch agrees. All right, so the puzzle database went live only last week. So far, we found a few issues, but we fixed them. I think we're doing all right. And there's basically two things that currently don't work. The puzzle database doesn't get updated. We don't write to it, right? So files get written to the old system, and I don't have a script to update the puzzle database. So it basically looks at the puzzle database. If it doesn't find anything there, it goes back to the old system, right? And that kind of sort of works, except when puzzles get updated, because they'll get updated to the old system, but if they're in the database, they'll get served, the old data gets served out of the puzzle database. Luckily, not a lot of people are updating data. I haven't really gotten any complaints yet, but that's basically the first thing we need to set up, and then the second one is to basically add new data. Hey Blobs, good morning. Well, it's kind of late here, but good morning to you for wherever you are. All right, so I'm gonna quickly look at my little county scripts here. So for example, if we go in here on count API, if I count the API beta, we have 112,237. And if I count production on the server, on the live server, we have 113,190, right? So there's 1,000 puzzles or something that have been added that are currently not coming out of the 10 a.m. California. Yeah, that's nice. That's kind of why all my meetings are around this time as well. So what I'm gonna do is, let me think. So I've been patching the puzzle database into the SudokuPad server. Just this little monstrosity. Like that, right. So, so right now it's super primitive. Just a copy of the MongoDB database. And it basically looks something like this. Connect. So it kind of looks like something like this, right? And we don't even use a lot of it. Let us set up a local version, because right now, would this hit my local database? I don't know. If I do something like this and I go, let's say, to a old New York Times puzzle, it should definitely come out of the database. So let's check if that's what's happening. I'm also going to probably disable it, because basically when this server restarts, it reads 100,000 files, and that takes a couple of seconds, right? In fact, I'll show you first for a moment. So I have a script that will automatically restart the server when I change the file. So that's probably something I want to have running. I think it's called watch no. These watch scripts should restart. So if I do this and save it, okay, it's already restarted. Never mind. This was about some of the static files, which we're not looking at today. All right. So if I look at where this is used, so this is the code where we're basically requesting to read a puzzle. Here we're doing some checks. And then finally, we have the short ID here, which is already here, so I can just use that. I'm just realizing, no point correcting that a second time. That's literally where I copied the code from. I don't know why I wasn't just doing that. And in fact, it is used here. Okay. Weird. Do that. That's the same, right? The only difference is the ampersand here. right, let's refresh that. In fact, what we're going to do is we're just going to go into a raw API call so we don't have to load a bunch of files, right? So that's the API call, right? And yes, they're the same, so we can actually small modification. Let me just make sure the Git history is clean. Yes, clean as it's gonna get. So we don't need the shirt ID. We're just gonna use. Oh, because I was using shirt. Oh well. I guess we'll. So, gonna have to rename that to Puzzle ID. Puzzle ID. Then we can get rid of this. If I restart that, that should just happen. Okay. So, now for this ID, we should be getting it from the database. So I'll need two samples, one that's from the database and one that isn't. And the one that isn't the... let me think, what's the easiest thing to do? If I request... Wait, if I do this, if I just do this... IT. This will not automatically load the latest ones because I don't have the script running on this server, on my local machine. I just closed something that I didn't want to close, I think. I don't know. Because I have a cron job running on the server that updates these. Ah, I should have a copy of that cron. Which cron job is that? Is it jobs? Where do these live on my machine? I think under Sven codes. Yes, okay. So I should be able to go here. Don't actually know what runs the jobs. Well, I kind of know. It's the PM2 system. Sorry, I have something tickling my nose. I think it's like hair or something. My age. So if I just run the jobs thing... This one. If I do node jobs YT... wait, I don't know where it gets the files, hostname. Where does it get hostname from? Called API host. I think if I change hostname to localhost, I can test it. So if I change this to localhost 12, I don't do this. Host. Oh, I closed. All right. I accidentally closed the tab where it was running the server. Econ refuse. Why would it do that? Do I have exclusion on that? Ah, okay. Now it ran. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we should have these guys for today. Yes. If I do this. One sec. My nose is going nuts. Sometimes I swear my body's allergic to streaming. Every time I stream, my body just goes wrong in so many ways. All right, so we should have. I search for API. Get that. I go here. I go here. So we have from the database, and this should be not from the database. All right, and now if we go back to here, and we output something accordingly, and I actually don't want to save that. It's gonna bite me in the butt if I correctly. So here we do a little console log, serve from PuzzleDB, like that. And then in the else case down here, serve from select. Right. So if I load this, serve from PuzzleDB, and if I load this, serve from API Puzzle. Right. And we have it'll take a little bit longer because it has to wait for the timeout from the database. Actually, no, we won't have a timeout here. It'll just come back. Hey, didn't find it. It'll be a tiny little bit slower, but like fractions of a millisecond. Okay. So, and now the problem becomes if we're updating this one, it'll get updated on the file. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a test puzzle in test. So I can, you know, so I'll save this as a let me see. Short ID. I'll just gonna do boom. Right. Now open in the tab. So, and I'm going to put these here. Have a reference. All right. So this one is still from here. This one is from here. Now, I also need something that's in the puzzle database. So I don't want to mess with these New York Times puzzles. It's just gonna hurt me later on. So I'm just going to grab something from my test folder. I'm sure I have something in there that I can use. In fact, okay, // I guess it's technically works. Fog01. Let's see. So if I take this, I say Fog01. Yeah. So I guess we'll sacrifice this one. Sure, why not? And the reason I say sacrifice it because we're gonna modify it, right? So we're going to this here, and I'm gonna make a note of it here as well. All right. So this is this puzzle data, and this is coming from the puzzle database. So now if I go to some other puzzles, such as one of our, like this one, right? And I'll go to the update API, go to assets, slash, what's it called? Slash short ID or yeah, I think it's just short ID, right? So ID, yeah. So we'll take what were we doing? We're taking this puzzle here, and we're going to update this URL with it here. And we need an API key for the test API. All right, I'll find it. Cool. You guys hear crackling in my audio back, and I've taken this microphone apart and I couldn't find anything on the inside. I'm actually gonna have to do this over here. I don't actually want to close this. Oh wait, that's just the hash. I need to actually look up the API key for this, and I believe it's actually in. So I'm gonna update this puzzle. So we get all of this. Now, this updated the file, not the database, right? So if I go back to here, and I'll make a second request, it should be the identical data. Sure. And over here, it should say serve from puzzle database, right? But if I say if false, right? You see now it changed. So when it's coming from the underlying system, so this will be different now. Yeah. But if I go back to the puzzle database, it won't be. Refresh that. I believe there's some caching at hand. Yeah. So now we have two things we have to concern ourselves with. Hey, Christina. All right, so it's just locally on my monitor earphones. Really annoying. And then it kind of happens suddenly. It fades out, and then it's gone for a long while. And it's because this is directly connected to the microphone. I assume it's a physical thing, mechanical thing. But sometimes it doesn't happen for ages, and then the way it happens, it feels very software. I don't know. Very strange. All right. So we have a couple of things to worry about. Currently, when we're writing to the API, we're just updating where is it? Sorry. And label where's the admin update link? There we go. So this thing does that, and then that's what basically does the work. So it creates the puzzle info, which basically just like there's a few bits of data in there, like a hash, a couple of things, right? Then it updates cache and it writes, and puzzle write I think is just literally just the file write and update of the puzzle cache. So actually, if we hijack puzzwrite to write to the database, and maybe we need to push all the DB stuff into these functions, into these lower level functions, right? And the other issue is that obviously I have a bunch of extra data that I'm extracting, which takes a little longer to do, and updating the data is not necessarily as smooth, right? So for example, right now, API Puzzles maps short IDs to the puzzle data. Now, we're updating one of these, that means this bit changes. But this short ID is still linked elsewhere, right? So for example, if we look at puzzle info here, we can see that this puzzle has these short IDs. except we're changing the puzzle, so the puzzle might now be different. It might have a different title. So this information is no longer accurate. So we basically have to do two things. First, we have to purge all the previous information. So we basically have to go everywhere where that short ID may be referenced, purge that, and then have a script that re-adds that information. Now, it shouldn't take very long for one puzzle, but it could be a little complicated because I'm doing a bunch of filtering, error handling, and parsing stuff that isn't available to the server right now. So we might have to make that available, right? So first of all, let's have a quick review of what we have here. So we have PuzzleDB, right? And I'm just going to write these down quickly. So we have API puzzles with... And API puzzles is simply one-to-one storage of API/puzzle, right? Of the puzzle data. So now what we have is the second step is the puzzle store. And puzzle store is basically slightly higher level. And that's basically decoded data for short IDs and deduplicated, right? So it basically says, okay, we're doing a bunch of decoding of the data, getting it to basically a JSON format. And then we store a few basic information, a hash, a format, and we deduplicate, right? So deduplicated and parsed version of puzzles. And then puzzle counter, I think, is independent. We don't have to worry about that at the moment. And then puzzle info finally is higher level data, right? So this is well, I guess we're extracting actually, do we have the same number of puzzle info entries as... Okay, so that's one-to-one. Okay, so puzzle info and puzzle store could, in theory, be joined. So puzzle store has the puzzle data, which we don't have in here. Has the hash, which we have in here. So maybe we actually want to get rid of that. It's basically the same data, right? So let's have a quick look at the parsing structure. So that might be a simplification we want to implement. PuzzleDB. Right. So in here, basically right now, parse puzzle raw. That's the one that pulls in the data into the API, and it basically... Does this actually do puzzle info yet here? No. I should probably clean this up. Parse puzzle raw, is that even happening? So yeah, wait, that's not right. Reload all. What does reload all do exactly? So reload API puzzles, delete collection, load API puzzles, load API puzzles. Okay, so this basically just reads the files asynchronously, all 100,000, and I had to kind of split that up and parallelize that because it actually takes a bit of time. And it just reads them in and dumps them in there. Good. Now, puzzle store and puzzle info. The counter database is also separate. And puzzle store and puzzle info basically more or less do the same thing. Slightly different ways, aren't they? So I'm gonna look into these to make sure I'm not doing something... Like I'm doing so... so puzzle store is sort of the first pass where I'm kind of... I'm filtering out certain invalid files. Ultimately, I need to do this in reverse. I need to actually clean up the legacy data first, basically delete these bad files. So then I can just do a unfiltered parse and all the data should be good. But why are we not creating puzzle info data at the same time? So here, we're doing all that checking and cleaning up, creating the hash, and then ultimately we're putting it in here, and we're using this to deduplicate it. Right. In the meantime, here, we basically, it's just a little bit simpler. We do a little bit of extra stuff here. Do I want to do this right now? I was hoping to implement it sort of on the other side, but I feel like if I have duplicated data here, it's gonna just, I don't want to carry it over, right? So basically all of this work, we kind of want to do it up here as well. So here we're merging them together. Does that make sense as well? Like if we're finding the same, okay, so this is here, we're indexing by the hash. And we're not really dealing with hash. Alright, I'm gonna get these side by side here. Actually, I'm gonna do this. 10. That. We're gonna go down to... I'm gonna make it a little smaller because otherwise it doesn't fit on my... Why does my restream look like it's very, very far behind actual? Hang on. Hopefully it's live, right? I'm seeing on my live view something I did ages ago. Alright, Twitch seems to be up to date. YouTube seems to be up to date. I'm gonna refresh my dashboard on Restream because that's not up to date. Of course, then I lose all the chat. That's... Thanks, Restream. Alright, I think now we're back on track. Hope I didn't miss anything. Alright. So we basically want to integrate that into here without much of a mess. So this is our little filter pyramid here. Can I make this more serial? I could encapsulate these into function that just throw and then have a singular catch at the end. No, because we need to deal with the catch right away here. Let me think. We basically want to invert that, right? We want to say, hey, if this is happening, we'll skip to the end. So the catch never happened. Yeah, so if we get to here, we basically just want to do continue. And then the catch is just a no op, right? That makes sense? I think so. Like, for example, here, this is our first split. So if this happens, we want to go to here. So maybe we can encapsulate this whole stack here into a function. Okay. So if we have a little function here, const validate puzzle data async equals f puzzle data. Actually, we're gonna do validate puzzle raw. And then we're basically gonna feed all of this into here. So I'll do this here. Like that. Okay. Oh, I hate how regular expressions interfere with that stuff. All right. Now we're gonna move all of this stuff in here. We have then we'll this part. So puzzle data, do a little bit more cleaning up here. A bit more there. If puzzle data's pack, clean up that. And now we'll do the first check. And here we can just exit early. So if format equals SCF, if puzzle blah blah blah. And then what do we return? Puzzle data. We care about format in the end here. I mean, we basically want to output all of this. In fact, we might even want to move the hash calculation in there as well. And then basically all of this comes out. But the hash calculation happens afterwards. The whole point of this is I want to be able to exit early. So we're going to do return, format, puzzle data. Boom, done. That's our first early exit, right? Step 2. We're doing this one. This one. We'll do a try. Right? Now, if this works out, this JSON is never being used, right? So if this validates, basically we have our JSON parsing work, then we just exit. We'll do the same thing. Boom, done. Else we do that. Do we have save JSON code or something? Well, we don't want to save decode. We just want to validate that the JSON can be done. The next step is this, and if this works, we're also fine. So we'll basically do this again. And this time we'll do that. If that works. That works. Actually, we want to unzip the puzzle data, I think. We basically want to do this. That. Then we want to check this again. What if we do something like validate JSON? And then we'll just do something like this. Try JSON parse. Don't even need to assign it. Parse data string, and then catch. Here we'll just do return true, return false. I think that's all we need, right? So here we can just do validate JSON. If not validate JSON, or if validate JSON puzzle data, we'll just return this. Boom, comes a one-liner, right? Then we'll do this, and then we'll do it again. Validate JSON, return puzzle data. Yeah, I think that works better. So now we are here. So now we have the next catch, which is all of this. And now everything is on one level. It'll be much easier to follow along and see what's going on here. So now we want to save decompress, and we'll probably validate JSON again. Except this time we are going to exit. Now, what validate puzzle? Do we want to return false or do we want to throw? I guess we could go either way. But since we're kind of doing this, maybe we should, you know, validate that. Now, save decompress. We'll need to unzip there here. Okay. If puzzle data equals or decomp is okay. So we'll do this if validate JSON. So if not validate JSON in this case, i.e. we're hitting this, we're going to do return false. That's this part, right? And we're not doing anything with the JSON at the there. Boom. And here we'll probably do something like console.born invalid JSON. Right. And now here, invalid compression, same thing. I'm just gonna do this for now. Invalid compression. Yada yada yada. And this is return false. And then this part, the good case, I don't think we need to do anything here. And this break gets us to where exactly? Because it feels like this will never execute. Ah, no, that's the else on this if statement. We'll just do an else. Put that in here. Don't need any of this. Yeah. Because there's three cases here, right? There's... This is true. That we're exiting. This is false. Wait, this break gets us out to where? How is that different from the continue over here? Is this just getting us out of try catch? Oh, I'm not sure. And this should basically be the deep. We'll probably want to do that here. Puzzle data. No, we're holding on to puzzle data because of that. Okay. So this should really that. And then at this point, I think we're ready to hit this part. And I'm gonna indent that just so. This. Now, in theory, that should be equivalent. But that is a dodgy assumption. So I'm not gonna take that for granted. Not at all. But we really want to do this here. Now I'm realizing because I'm returning false here, I cannot just do a smart assignment here. So maybe it makes sense to actually throw it in case. Instead of returning here, we'll just throw this thing. Right. Now, yeah, I think this is always going to be the case here. So there's no else here. Goes there. We either return or we throw. The only reason we don't assign that higher up is because we got to do the comparison here. They're equal, or this is if decomp at this point, I think we can already throw right here. So if decomp is that, throw, and then here, if puzzle data is not sure why we're doing this JSON check here. Because this part, we should be able to check that right here. And this isn't inside this try catch. So if puzzle data is equals to decomp, or decomp nothing, puzzle data is. So in other words, there's nothing being compressed. Then it should have been, we should have been able to parse it already. Okay, so I'm guessing this can go here. If puzzle data equals to or decomp is nothing, then we can do this. Then we can do this. And then we'll just validate this again. And in fact, we'll do it the other way around. In with JSON. And the last JSON, and we'll do something like something like that. And now we should be able to try catch it over here. Like that. And then we can continue from there. And we should be able to do something like format data equals that. Right. Now if I go into data, I think we could run. What did we run? Do we have a script for that? I'm not. All right. PuzzleDB. Okay. And format puzzle data. It doesn't like. It does not like unexpected token. Why can I not in text? I can do it as an array. Can I do it only with a let or cons left side D? I think I can. Can do with arrays. Can do. Found a wait. Maybe put a bracket here and there. Okay. Ooh, wait. No, I don't want to do all of it. I don't actually want to reload all. I think we'll do this. It'll wipe everything, but, you know, be okay. 108,000. Wait a second. Where are you fetching them from? The iPad. Right? This is only 108,000. Alright. So, if we now look into Compass and refresh... did we do both? API puzzle and puzzle whatever? Ah, you know what? I could have done this a lot smarter. I could have just only done the storage part, if that's the one I'm working on. Yeah, let's see if we can do that. So we don't actually need to reinit everything. ReinitDB does that. initDB, I think, doesn't do anything destructive. But we don't actually need to do that anyway. We can skip that and reload API puzzles. And skip that as well. Because that's not what we're working on, isn't it? Is it? We're working on the create puzzle store. So if we just do that, we should get straight to it. Alright. Let's wait. So. Now, am I not handling certain exceptions well enough? So let's see what errored out. Oh, we got a lot of them. All right. So received error argtime the data argument type string buffer type blah blah blah. Create puzzle store. All right. This error. Okay. Output some of the things here. Do we return JSON data here? I don't think so. Type error. Generate properties undefined reading. Format find. All right. The problem is this might get super spammy. Can we just break? Sort of and here, I say format 1, format 2. Because the format is coming back as undefined, it's got to go undefined somewhere. Now that might be crazy spammy because I don't know if this, this might be airing out on the 50,000th puzzle. 1, 2, and on 2. That. So, format 1 string. If on. So we don't have a format here. If I do start, puzzle raw. Have to copy. That. Puzzle raw 1 string. Okay. What the hell's going on? Is this completely blank? Okay. So we're looking at API puzzles, and the first one is just straight out empty. That doesn't seem a good thing. All right, let's see. What is our query here? I'm just gonna output the doc. Sometimes something silly happens. We have a short ID that's just empty. Okay. So we have an empty short ID, and I'm guessing that should just get skipped. The problem is now I don't know if that was already invalid. Like that, or if because I ran the thing again, it became invalid when it wasn't previously. Oh, that's a blank one. All right. If I look at this one through the API directly, and it just comes back happily with the empty fonts. Fine. Happens to be empty. Okay. Okay. So that's probably something we wanna exit on early. So we probably want to say if puzzle raw dot length. Oh. Puzzle raw empty. Um. 7.5. Throw puzzle raw empty. It's async, and I'm not awaiting it. I'm an idiot. Okay. Count assigned to read only proper length of string. What? One of these days I'll learn how to program. I'm telling you. Hope. Alright, error puzzle raw empty, boom. Inverted count, inverted count, blah blah blah. Batch cannot be empty. Okay. Why are we exiting here? Error puzzle raw empty. Okay, because I'm breaking after the first error. Okay. Ah, wait, no.